on me. He was on last week talking about Cincinnati sports. There's a lot of shit going on. You see, he's trolling the hell out of me because his beloved Bengals pimp slapped my Steelers in Heinz Field for their first win since 2015 in Pittsburgh. So they've essentially, in the first time in almost a damn near dog year, won 2 in a row in a series against us, going back to last season when they thumped their asses on Monday night. So they're still mad at us.
Ryan Finley.
The immortal Ryan Finley last year on Monday night dealt the almost a death blow in terms of divisional title hopes in Cincinnati that won fifth night Monday Night Football. Then Joe Burrow came back in. I'm happy for the brother. He played well. He's got his swag back. As long as his line continues to block for him, you're going to see more of this. And by the way, you remember that young man, Jamar Chase, the one accused of having drop C's during the regular season, during the preseason?
My man, Butterfingers.
Yeah, he caught 2 touchdown passes, 4 receptions in all for 65 yards. And Joe Mixon did a damn thing with 90 yards on the ground and on 18 carries. And I mentioned Burrow early with 3 touchdowns and the 1 pick that, that came very early in the game. But my quarterback, Lars Benjamin, a.k.a. Ben Roethlisberger, returned the favor that led to Cincinnati's first touchdown. But anyway, I'm going to give my man, my frat brother, my ace on our line, time to gloat because, quite frankly, from all the shit he's received from me and other Steelers fans everywhere, he deserves the time to gloat. So, Dre, the floor is yours, brother. Just go ahead.
I'm gonna start with this.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Oh my God!
Is there a mute button over here? Is there a mute something somewhere?
Oh my God! Yo!
Woo! I take you back, D. I know.
Yes, you did.
You reminiscing right now. I know
yes.
You are.
Yes,
because that's how long it feels like it's been since we've been.
Oh,
fair enough.
man.
Fair enough, brother. Fair enough.
Look here, man. So when I was on last week,
excuse me,
D, you specifically asked me. You said, Dre, how many points will it take for Cincinnati to beat Pittsburgh? Do you remember what I told you?
You told
20,
me
I
was
said
it 20, right?
20 points. 20 to 10, we would have doubled them up anyway.
Right.
We went 24. One easy.
Yeah. And we're even that close. It wasn't
no,
close to the
really
final score. It was a thumping.
It really was not that close. It was. I can say this as a Bengals fan and knowing the years of hardship that I've been through as in that fan base, we were up. I think at one point like 17. Yeah. In the third or fourth quarter.
24-7, yes.
And I was like, man, I wonder if there's a way we're gonna lose this game. Like if Ben gets a touchdown on this, if Ben gets a touchdown on this drive, and then
if you start doing the math in your head and you started equating on how it can happen,
No, seriously, I am not kidding. That's how scarred I am from the years of just like, well, here we go. Here come the Steelers. But it was refreshing to see that once they took control, they didn't give it back. Right. Like they just didn't give it back. That defense is ridiculous. That front line, I think it's the 7th highest paid front line, defensive line in the league. They made their money on Sunday. Right? They kept Ben in the pocket. They didn't let, I think Najee Harris had something like, 40 yards?
40 yards on the ground, yeah.
Yeah, 40 yards.
That offensive line, too.
Now, he caught over 100 yards worth of passes, but it was on like 13 or 14 passes because that was the extension of the run game because they could not run the ball, period.
Right.
So if you're going to average, 8 yards a catch to a running back, I'm okay with that. And then at the end of the game to throw a check down on 4th down, it's like 4th and 10 from the 11, and you throw a 7-yard check down from behind the line of scrimmage. Y'all quit. I'm gonna tell you, because like my boy Tyler Boyd said,
I was about to get to that. Yeah.
they quit. They quit. I mean, tell me another time where Ben Roethlisberger doesn't drop back, take that ball, and throw it in the end zone. Why are we a swing pass to a running back? Come on, man. They were like, nah, this game's over. Let's just get up out of here and we'll regroup for next week.
Yeah.
They asked Mike Tomlin about Tyler Boyd's comments. You know what he said? He was like, I don't care what he has to say. We are just going to, they were a better team. They played hard, and we're going to move on to next week. Yeah, that means y'all quit. That's exactly what that means.
That's exactly what that means.
Translation. Translation. Yeah, he's right.
You quit.
And that's the saddest thing, brother, because, I mean, if you understand the rivalry, right? I mean, let's just go back to the 70s and the first part of the 80s, right? It was competitive. I mean, it wasn't a fierce rivalry per se. That became that way in the 2000s.
Yeah.
When they were competing for division.
It became kind of ugly in the 2000s, though.
Yeah, it really did.
I mean, legit. Like it was brutal to the point of crossing lines.
Right. Yes, on both sides. It started with Heinz Ward breaking the jaw.
Let me be very clear. Mostly on the Pittsburgh side. Because I can recount for you the number of injuries that Bengals players have sustained because of Pittsburgh. Can you recount for me the number of injuries Pittsburgh players have sustained because of Cincinnati players?
Vontaze.
Who did he hurt? Yeah, he hurt Antonio Brown. Mm-hmm. I'm still waiting. Okay, so you broke Keith Rivers' jaw, you broke Kevin Huber's jaw, you put Giovanni Bernard out of the game in the playoff game, you broke Carson Palmer. Like I can go on and on and on about the number of
Chris Henry in the same play,
right?
Yeah.
Like I can go on and on and on about the number of times that Pittsburgh has done things to the Bengals, and the Bengals have always been that team to be like, we're just gonna keep working hard, and we stay above board, and we're a bunch of really good guys who play good football, and if you play good football, you're gonna win your share of games. Screw that, man. Hit that dude in the mouth. Last year when Von Bell hit Juju in the mouth, and I'm talking MOUF, he hit him in the mouth. Because that's what you need to do again. When you have a bully, the only way to beat a bully is to out-bully the bully.
Right. Knock him in the mouth.
That's the only way you're gonna do it.
Knock him in the mouth.
Exactly. You're still the little brother, and we're still gonna I'm gonna just keep pushing. I'm gonna keep poking. I'm gonna keep poking because you ain't gonna do nothing about it anyway.
Right.
So we had a conversation with our frat brothers where one of my frat brothers was like, "Nah, he shouldn't have said that. Tyler Boyd shouldn't have said they quit." And this, because next time you play him, they gonna punch you in the mouth and get his head knocked in.
I mean, you expect that anyway.
Like we were doing that anyway, right? Every year, somebody getting broke, getting hurt, getting beat up, and we got to take the loss. Screw that, man. Flip that script. Let's go.
And this is interesting because we'll get to the Steelers in a minute, but now the AFC North has almost always been competitive, right? So now we all know that it's been assumed anyway by the prognosticators out there that the division is going to come out between the old Browns and the new Browns, right? Baltimore and Cleveland respectively. Right. Now you have this wrinkle. That the wrinkle is it's always going to be like that third team is going to be in there trying to make a say, put its own stamp, right? Send its own message. But people didn't realize it may be Cincinnati.
Yeah,
it's going to be doing that because I've always said this time and time again, especially the last few years, especially this year. You guys are talented at the skill position.
Yes.
As long as you guys got a halfway decent offensive line. Yep. That's what's holding y'all really back. Your defense is playing very well. Right? The money y'all invested, as you said it earlier, in the front four alone.
Yep.
It's paying off. It looks like it's paying off, right? So that's good. That's good news there. You still have Von Bell's still there, right?
Oh yeah.
So you still got Cassidy's secondary, Landon Wood. You got a front four that's worth a damn. So now you shift to the offensive side. You have young studs at the skill position players. Joe Mixon can tote the rock. Of course, Burrow, when he's healthy and upright, has a swag and can sling it around. He's the real. I said last year, he's the real deal. You just gotta protect him. And you guys finally have some weapons on the perimeter that Jamar Chase, that pick is playing off because he's your deep threat. And he discovered how to catch again.
He's everything that they hoped and prayed John Ross would be. Right? When they drafted John Ross, it was, oh, that's our speed dude to take the team, right? You got AJ Green, as he gets older, probably becomes more of a possession receiver, you know, big catch radius, all of those things. You got Tyler Boyd in the slot. And then you put John Ross on the outside to just light defenses on fire, right? And that's why you drafted him. And then he was terrible. He couldn't catch a ball and he couldn't stay healthy. Right? Those two things. They went out and got Jamar Chase, and Jamar Chase is absolutely everything that John Ross wasn't, and has a little bit of cockiness and swagger about him that John Ross never had. Right? Like, I know I'm good. I don't give a damn what you say. I know I'm good. Matter of fact, I know I'm so good, I'm gonna be the first number one in franchise history.
That's right.
There's never been another number one in the franchise. I'm a number one. I'm gonna be the first number one. Matter of fact, when I come in, I'm breaking all the records. Let's go.
But do you think that that's part of John Ross being a Husky coming from Washington, and that probably not being ingrained in him? And then Jamar Chase is from where again?
LSU.
I know he went to LSU. I'm not sure where his hometown is.
No, I mean more so from the institution that he went to. So he played ball at LSU, national champion at LSU,
setting records at LSU,
setting records at LSU with his boy, and you dominate Alabama while you're doing it, right? So you have the right to go ahead and beat your chest. You know, you got Washington who was happy to be in the playoffs, and you know they got through the Pac-12, but you know, it's not to say that Pac-12 guys can't come through with swagger, right?
Sure.
But you know, I'm just.
But if I'm coming from LSU, I'm setting records. I'm winning national championships. I'm going undefeated, and then I walk into my first real NFL game, and I'm catching 50-yard bombs for touchdowns where I leave cornerbacks in my wake like I did at LSU. I'm like, oh, let's go, baby. Yeah, it's game time. It's game time. I think he is one of, it's either 2 or 3 wide receivers in the history of the game. So, I mean, we talking some big-time wide receivers have played this game. He's one of 2 or 3 wide receivers in the history of the game to have 4 touchdowns in their first 3 games. Yeah.
And the thing is, again, you mentioned earlier with AJ Green and Tyler Boyd. Still got Tyler Boyd in the slot, but you also have the T. Higgins from Clemson, who looks like it's going to be another real deal.
Yep.
So I think I heard he's going to change the number from 85, though. Is that correct?
I think the plan is, or what he would like to do, is switch to number 5, which is what he was in college. Right. Now, with the way the NFL does it, it's like you got to buy up the rest of the stock if you want that to happen. So depending upon how many T. Higgins jerseys there are out there and how much that's going to cost him, he may stay 85 for a little while.
Right. I got you.
I might have to wait for that second contract.
There you go. Fair enough. But my point is, I mentioned that young man because, I mean, he was the player last year, right? Before Joe Burrow went down, and after, I mean, he still played well.
Yeah. I mean, he had 960, 980 yards somewhere in there, and really only played, 12 games. Really. Yeah. So. Right. Yeah, I mean, the kid's legit.
And so you got that with the reliable Tyler Boyd, the shit-talking Tyler Boyd, to go with Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon in the backfield. You need a damn line.
Yeah.
That's what Pittsburgh is finding out. We got Najee Harris, who has the makings of a stud in the backfield.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a line to open holes and protect Big Biv so he won't have a happy feet and throw 7 down checkdowns on 4th and 10, what the hell are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What the hell? And I ain't even mentioned the injuries on defense, but really, it's frustrating. I get the line for Pittsburgh is young, but you in the NFL, bruh.
Yeah.
You gotta protect. Look at Cincinnati's line. They're young too.
Yep.
But doing a better job protecting their quarterback. That comes down to desire and coaching.
Yep.
Right? So right now, to Tyler Boyd's point, watching the game, like I said, the game was far worse than the final score indicated. We just got to ask.
Yeah. I mean,
legitimately,
when it comes down to it, the Bengals went up and punched Pittsburgh in the mouth, and Pittsburgh didn't have a response.
Correct. So now, if you're looking at the next game this coming weekend, you guys get Jacksonville tomorrow night.
Yes, sir.
That's a W. That should be a W.
It better.
I'll tell you what, that's the sign of y'all taking the next step.
Yep.
If you guys don't don't have a hangover from beating Big Brother's ass on the road, and take care of business against a team that had no business staying with you, that's when you know you're taking the next step.
Beat the teams you're supposed to beat.
Correct.
Right? Like, the Bengals don't make the schedule.
Right.
But you need to beat the teams you're supposed to beat.
Right.
I just said that very thing last night.
Right? The Bengals haven't been, I think they're a 7.5 point favorite. They haven't been a 7.5 point favorite or more since it's either 2015 or 2017, one of those two. So, I mean, Vegas is like, y'all should whoop that ass.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, anything over a touchdown, you got your butt kicked. And so the Bengals need to come out, do what they're supposed to do. They got some injuries. They got some things that, some folks that are going to be out. Their starting corner, Chidobe Awuzie is going to be out. Jesse Bates is going to be out. T. Higgins will probably be out. So there's some key pieces that they're going to be missing. With that being said, that front seven is healthy and ready to go on the defensive side. You still got Jamar Chase, you still got Joe Burrow, you still got Joe Mixon, you still got Tyler Boyd on the offensive side. You got no business losing to a team that's lost by double digits the first 3 games of the season. You got no business doing it. Right. As talented as Trevor Lawrence is, he has 7 interceptions and 2 fumbles. So he's got 9 turnovers in the first 3 games. You got no business losing to that dude, right?
Yeah, and it shouldn't be close. And if it's close, that should be disappointing. That should be disappointing. It shouldn't be. Yeah,
look, I will never look a gift W in the mouth.
Sure.
Right? I'm gonna take all the W's. If they win by 1 because Evan McPherson hit a 57-yard field goal in the last seconds of the game, I'm gonna be like, I'm real disappointed.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And let's talk about it on the way home, celebrating this W. But outside of that, like, you gotta take advantage of this, man. This is your time to make a move and to be relevant. If you look at their schedule, they've got, in the next 5 games, they play 3 teams who are currently, as of today, 0-3. So you gotta beat. You got Jacksonville right now. You got the Jets are on there and the Lions. Those are 3 teams you should beat. Right. And even if you lose to Baltimore and you lose to Green Bay, that currently has you sitting at 5-3 at the halfway point. Come on. Beat who you're supposed to beat. Be competitive with those other teams. You mess around and beat a Baltimore. You mess around and beat a Green Bay because it's at the crib. Like, come on. That's what we got to do. Come on.
Yeah. And you guys have fared well. Yeah, I would say most years against Baltimore, you pretty much own Baltimore. It's a weird dynamic.
With the exception of the Lamar Jackson era.
Well,
Lamar Jackson came in.
Sans Lamar Jackson, that should be clear. Sans Lamar Jackson's spin move and Paul Brown 2 years ago. when he won his MVP.
Yeah, that was 2019. My God, I remember watching that game in the sports bar.
Epic spin move. It was on here, obviously. It was that spin move was epic. I'm sorry. He still using that spin move like. But the point is that years before Lamar Jackson, it was a weird dynamic. You guys practically own Baltimore. We will go back and forth for Baltimore. We don't Cleveland. Hell, we own Cleveland, but we will own Cleveland, and we had our share of success against you guys. So it was just a weird dynamic, right? And it's just weird like that. But point is that you guys, I figured this day would come because you guys got the talent. You're young and ascending. Now Cleveland and Baltimore are about to peak.
Yeah,
I can't believe the same thing about Cleveland, about them peaking. But they are. They're unfortunately for us, they're good.
I mean, when you have a top 5 pick for 10 years in a row, you ought to be good at some point, right?
At some point, it should be bound to happen. All of them can't be bad picks. Right. All of them can't be. No, not when you got the number 1 pick. When you have the top 3 pick for 15 years in a row, dude. At some point, it should click.
Yeah, it should. It's like the law of averages, right? I mean, you're bound to hit on something unless you're horrible at drafting,
which they have been. Yes. But even if being horrible at drafting, you should still have a handful of those dudes like, oh, Myles Garrett. Oh, he was just there. We had nobody else to take him. We needed him, and he was there. Cool. Mm-hmm. Yes, and he's phenomenal. He should be. You keep picking in the top 5.
Yeah. So right quick before I head to talk about UC.